Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Burr with the Tattooed Spirit. I'm happy to have you here as we reach the exact middle of the major arcana. We're at card number 11. It's the Justice, and this is, of all my favorite cards, this is probably my favorite card because of all the different cards around it and for how many other cards it relates to just visually. The Justice card, number 11. As I said, it is the exact center of the entire grid whenever you've been arranging it, as I've been hoping that you have been while we've been going through the process of this. It's right underneath the Emperor. If you can't understand that there's a direct link of how we kind of go about our inner life with how we've learned to go about the outer life as far as the idea of foundations and the rule of law. Now we take all that, literally the firm, the iron, it's the metal, it's the stone throne of the Emperor card, into making our own inner self come out and how we show that in a steadfast way to the world, our own inner being. That's how we live in the world. The Justice card is all about taking the revelations that have been found in this, where we're all connected. It begins to settle in as personal responsibility of your place, not only in the world, but in your particular life. The idea of no excuses. You embody the idea whenever this card comes in right side up, that life happens for you. It doesn't happen to you. There's no more victimization here. There's no more blaming an alcoholic mother. There's no more feeling bad because I stammered all growing up and all my teachers thought that I was stupid. There's no more, I was in a bad relationship and I got hurt. That's why I'm really scared now to move on. There's absolutely no more of that. Whenever you get this far along in this inner journey of not only this second row of this arcana, of this major arcana, but also right smack in the middle of the second row, everything begins to make sense of you emerging as a spiritual being. You understand now the relationship between the wisdom of this high priestess. Look at the pillars, how it's once black and white in this world that seems foreign and everything is different and opposite or the same as you. It seems black and white. Now we have a new view of it. We have this view of just everything sort of gray, but you standing or you sitting with the same power and authority as the Emperor, as the Empress did, but in a new way. Hold these two cards side by side and you'll begin to get a different understanding of how important that first line was that we studied. Speaking of pillars as well, is there another card on that first? How about that fifth, the fifth card? The Hierophant. The idea that, remember in this card, you were one of these two subjects being taught that there was something beyond you. Now you've actually replaced that authority figure as being your own authority, of understanding life in a different way, that you're in charge of it, that it's happening for your own benefit. Everything, the worst part of it, the best part of it, and how it makes sense that the worst part had to happen to give you strength now to move on into this new part of it wherever you're going. The sword straight up and down. Not many cards in this entire 78 series of cards if you ever see a sword straight up and down. You may remember from that earlier video when I explained the different suits, the sword is all about thinking. It's about the mentalness. It's about the quality of your thoughts. Idea that it's straight up and down, you're completely balanced, where you're thinking that your place in the world is exactly where it is because that's where it should be right now. And the idea that the scales are balanced, that everything happens for a reason. There's no winner, there's no loser, there's just everyone being where they are right now. This is a fantastic, fantastic card. Look in your place. There's also how it reacts to the cards underneath it. We haven't gone over them yet. I'll probably do more review once we get to the bottom up, so you can have a better understanding a little bit more about each one. But there's a reason why it falls right above the Moon card. Okay, we're going to get into that. I want you to get really excited about how we move and transform with the different images. It's like, you can look at it like this as well, that the Justice, who you are at the Justice, as if the magician and the high priestess had like a baby, where living in the real world, taking in all these opportunities to create something in the real world, intermingled with the idea that there's something beyond this real world that we're working in. That is what gives sort of the birth to this particular card whenever it comes up face up. Whenever it comes up reversed, it has maybe dishonesty with yourself, maybe about you blaming other people for your situation, which is always, and let me just tell you, it is always a waste of your time to play the whole victim game. You get stuck at this card. This is as far as you can get until you begin to embrace the idea that everything has happened for the benefit and the purpose of you to move you along this journey so that you can experience a deeper sense of sensation, a deeper sense of satisfaction. And with this card upside down, you want to be able to take a look at yourself lovingly about how can I not begin to blame others. What else can be said about this? This also just is about an idea of just a negative belief system. Again, to harken back to the Hierophant card, these are the belief systems that were given to us from other people, regardless of how much they thought that they would help us. When this card presents upside down, there's a belief system that is blocking satisfaction with ourselves, just loving ourselves, any positive experience that we would want with ourselves. That can be help tapped into, help being read into whenever your subconscious begins to see this card upside down, because literally it's the exact opposite of thinking the right way about your place in the world. Now, where do we go from here? The next card, the Hanged Man. You may think it's something else, but it's something so wonderful as you begin to take this card into the world of beginning to act in a new way. We're going to talk about the Hanged Man in just a minute. All right. It's a good card. I get excited. What can I say?